Hopefully, I know it's done it before and it works. It just takes a minute or two to load up. So give it a minute. Is it evening where you are or daytime?
It is 4:38 p.m.
Okay, so you're about the same time frame. It's a sweet. Okay. Uh, We are live and it is now recording. So let me go ahead and give a brief introduction to you. So let me find that for you. And I said, wanted just to say, welcome. This is Marie Mason. I am actually in our second season of Mindset Marketing Strategies, and we are introducing you our next guest speaker, which is Sean Douglas. He is a U.S. Air Force veteran and a TEDx speaker, which is really exciting because I love the TEDx shows
Mhm.
and videos, and master resilience implementer of and suicide awareness trainer, a business positioning strategist, an international radio show host of Life Transformation Radio and Arthur. And he's a suicide survivor who hit rock bottom. And he's also, of course, obviously raised himself up from that. He believes that you were created for a purpose, and once you unlock your true potential, you will elevate your life, which is why he founded the Success Corps. That's going to be something I'm going to have you talk about at the end, too. And then Sean works with entrepreneurs, speakers, and business owners to improve their positioning in the market, which increases profitability while decreasing their anxiety and stress so their business thrives. Boy, do all of us need a refresher course on that. So, because businesses are stressful, right? So anyway, and today you're really going to be talking about positioning as a business owner. I guess is that what it is? Is that the focus?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to have you take it away and get rolling with that topic, and then if I have questions, I'll come on and pop up and ask you some questions.
Well, I'm excited to be here. This is absolutely an honor every time I get to go into somebody's audience. It is what I love to do the most.
Hmm.
And so what I specialize in is strictly positioning somebody in the marketplace. And positioning is how the marketplace receives and perceives you, the value that you bring, and your programs and products and services that are associated with the value that you're bringing. And a lot of speakers are not positioned the right way. That's why they don't get booked to speak. A lot of businesses are not positioned correctly. That's why they don't thrive. They're always looking for clients. They're always looking for. You ever seen people like looking for the next best thing? Like one week they're in Bitcoin, another week they're in CBD oil, and then another week they're in podcasting, and then another week, as soon as they launch a podcast, all of a sudden they're teaching people how to make a podcast, or they write a book that happens to go bestseller, and then all of a sudden they
Yep,
come up with a program how to teach somebody how to become a bestseller. Like they
yep.
do so many different things.
They're chasing the next best blue light
Mhm.
special. Yeah, I totally get that.
100%. Yep, 100%. And the problem with that is that you're not positioned for anything. Yeah, you might have a couple of people go, "Oh my gosh, he just made a bestseller." Like, I want to be a bestseller and attach themselves. But people who are going to do long-term business with you are not. That's not the type of audience that you're going to attract by doing that.
Hmm.
You're going to attract the short-term salespeople, just like you are a short-term salesperson.
Hmm.
And if you want to do serious business, then you got to be known for one thing, and you have to solve that one problem that is the most common problem that everybody has. So part of positioning is creating the problem that only you can solve. Position yourself as the person who can adequately solve that problem differently than everybody else. Everybody wants to compare themselves to everybody else. The businesses want to do comparative marketing. And we saw it in the Super Bowl. In
Hmm.
the Super Bowl commercial, there was a Pepsi commercial, and it started out with a red can and white letters, and the background was all red. And then like 5 seconds later, the can turned black in their hands, and then everything went black, and then it was a Pepsi commercial. But me and my friends sitting there, a bunch of business people, were like, um,
Does that make
was this
sense?
the Coke commercial? Is that what that? But what that did was it reinforced Coke's brand. It didn't do anything for Pepsi. It didn't make me want to drink Pepsi more than Coke or whatever. It's just you compared, yourself to Coke and you reinforced their brand. That's basically
Right.
what you did. You reinforced their brand because the first thing they saw was Coke, white letters. Actually, I think it said cola. It didn't even say Coke. It said cola. We had to like rewind it and go, wait a minute, was that a Coke can? But it said cola. And so there's Coca-Cola, Pepsi Cola, but it just reinforced their brand. A lot of people are comparing themselves. Like if you're working with these people, or if you're looking for this stuff and this thing and this, that, don't go to them. Now you just reinforced their brand. Instead of solving a problem and talking about the problem, not the solution. Everybody has the greatest solution. If you want to do this, I've got the greatest solution. But you're not solving a problem. You got to market the problem and not the solution. That's how you position yourself as an expert, is you have to market the problem that you solve, not the solution to that problem. Because somebody might not have that or feel like they need that type of solution. But when you frame it in the problem, they're like, I do have that problem. Well, here's your solution. So you have to frame the problem that you solve, and you have to be known for something, which is the problem that you solve. And then through content marketing, you have to condition the market to receive that problem as their own and get them to recognize that they are experiencing this problem. And then you get positioned as the expert with subject matter expert with credibility and authority inside of your niche, your category, your industry, whatever you want to call it. But you have to be known for something.
You have to be willing to do the work to get there too. So it's
Yep.
something that's I noticed that too, and be
Oh yeah.
consistent. Yeah, we actually just had a guest on that talked
Mhm.
literally about content. So this is like a perfect prelude to that topic.
Yeah.
I may just couple you two together when it comes to putting y'all on the same. Like you have the first one, and he's got the second slot, and so on, because it's just like right on point. So yeah, no, he's like you're like the precursor, so to speak.
Nice.
So when you position yourself, do you like have a formula or a format that you use for when you're positioning yourself and or teaching others to do the same thing? Or
Hmm.
what was your
Yeah,
form?
we start off with the problem that you solve. What's the problem you solve? Why should people care about what you're saying or what you're thinking? And right.
Hmm.
So that's when we get to work. Like what are you offering people? Because everything starts with the offer.
That's
It
true.
just does. Like what are you going to offer somebody? So if you're telling people like, oh, well, we can start a podcast, like I'll show you how to start a podcast. Like that's, but maybe that's not what they need. So the only people that, if you say, I start a podcast, well, the only people that are going to come to you are people who are actively searching for podcasts. But if you say, I get people visibility, well, how could you get somebody visibility? By starting a podcast. It's one way. Like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll entertain that. Maybe I'll think about that. Right.
Hmm.
So you have to, again, frame the problem in a way that conditions the market to receive that problem, because some people might not even think that that's the problem. And we have these people all the time in business, where they're like, oh no, that's not what I need. I know what I need. That's not what I need. Well, how do you think that that's what you need? Like I'm telling you from the outside in that maybe that's not exactly the way that it's going to go. Like maybe that's not what you actually need. I think you're doing it the wrong way. And they're like, no, 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 I know what I'm doing. Okay, you know what you're doing. You don't need me then. I'm not gonna argue. You think
Yeah.
you know better, then you go ahead and do it.
And they can
So
keep spinning their wheels until they figure out, oh yeah, he was right.
mhm.
I've
Yeah,
had those too.
I have people that I'm working with this year that said that they wanted whatever and they were gonna do all this cool stuff. And then I'm like, well, this is what I think you should be doing. They're like, well, I don't think I need that. I'm like, okay. And now we're working together doing what I said we should have done a year ago, 2 years ago.
But at least they made that realization. So that's always good.
Yeah,
At
I'm not
least
gonna
it's,
argue with anybody. I ain't
yeah.
got time to argue with anybody. Like, this is what I think you should be doing. They're like, I don't think so. I'm like, okay, well, have a nice day. I'm not gonna argue. I'm not a hard seller. I'm just gonna tell you what I think. And if you think that that's what you want to do, then awesome. If you don't, then you know, I'm not gonna worry about it. Like, you know, So,
They have free will, so they have to exercise that free will. They have to make what's
mhm,
the right decision for them at the time, and it may not be what you suggest at the beginning, but maybe later on they realize it's the right timing. So it's just a matter of getting them when you tell them those decisions, it's just a matter of when is the right time for them to receive it, because they have to be willing to receive it and be able to act on it. And if they're not willing to do both, it's pointless to to sit there and go further.
mhm.
Am I like preaching to the choir on that one? So anyway, so yeah, that's awesome. So
Yep.
as far as the topics are concerned, I mean, um, you kind of touched a little bit about an example, but let's say if we were going to have a concrete example of, um, I'll throw my business in there as an example. Okay. So I have a digital marketing agency,
Mhm,
and I'm coming to you for some advice on my marketing.
mhm,
Um, and I'm thinking of doing like, for example, and this is something I'm actually going to be doing for a free giveaway actually pretty soon. I have a checklist for a webinar checklist of what to do before, during, and after. And then I'm also going to be offering, like, for the free giveaway, a 2-minute introduction video for that, because I want to give them a taste of what the recording is, but not having too time and consensive. So I'll help them
mhm.
before it. I'll help them record it. I'll help them prepare, record, and then give them the link and help them distribute it. And I'll help them do that as, as a short introduction of what we do. So those are my lead offer and core offer for the giveaway. Um, of course, the value is and the audience is going to be like coaches and speakers and business owners primarily, and focus on with the coaches and speakers. So as this example, walk me through the steps of how I were to um, position myself in this industry and getting this lead offer and core offer off the ground.
So you said a lot of stuff there,
Yeah, sorry. I
and
like
it, and you explained a lot of features, not a lot of benefits, and a lot about who was going to be on, like, either partaking in it, who's going to be listening to it, like either audience or presenters or whatever. But I didn't hear anything about why they should show up, why they should even do this, why you're doing this. I have
Okay.
no idea.
Okay. Two reasons
So
why
if you had to
I'm
simplify it,
yeah, go ahead.
if you had to simplify it, why should people show up?
Okay. Well, people should show up if they would like to get the tech check, gets the benefit of learning how to do a webinar, for example, or even just promote a promotional video, and because they're the
Mhm,
same steps, and they should show up because they're getting a chance for us to record and
mhm,
market their promotional video
mhm.
and help them with the whole process from start to finish.
Okay, so why is that important?
It helps them, for one, position them to have a professional recording of themselves promoting their
Mhm,
services. And what we can do is, like you said, use this positioning example for this recording. We can actually help them position them in their marketplace so we can make them stand above the crowd. And then by doing that, we can also help them with their other webinars, and if they decide to do courses, we can help them with that recording process too. So, but this is just more of a taste of what we do, as
mhm.
more like a sample, um, and just give them a chance to give them ideas of how we can help them move forward with their business and help them position themselves in the marketplace.
And again, that's a lot.
I'll trim it down.
Yeah.
So,
What I'm searching for still is, why is that important? For example, you're saying that, so if here's what I'm hearing, and then I'm going to tell you what I would say instead.
okay,
What I'm hearing is that you're going to show them how to execute a webinar that's going to position them in the field. Now,
correct.
we've all been on webinars where it's like, let me talk about me for 25 minutes. Let me talk about how my life sucked and was now awesome for the next 25 minutes, and give you an offer at the end for you to buy my stuff. That's pretty much the horrible webinars that are out there today.
Correct.
And the webinar company, people, whoever makes these things, I can't speak to every single one, but from the stats that I've seen, a lot of people aren't attending webinars as much as they used to, because it's 25 minutes of talking about my life. And here's my dog Fluffy and the farm that I lived on when I was 5, and not a lot of value. There's like hardly little to no value, but all of the marketing is on this webinar. Learn how to launch your book in 30 days. But I didn't learn how to launch my book in 30 days. I learned about the program that you're going to sell me that's going to launch my book for 30 days. So there's a lot of bait and switch in webinars, which a lot of people hate. So you must overcome that. Number one, you must overcome that. So
Agreed.
if you're going to have, if you're going to teach people how to properly do a webinar on this particular webinar, then you should pack it full of value and then name it something like how to create an actual webinar that will actually convert. Like that's a core promise, right?
That's awesome.
Or you said that you're going to teach people how to use video. You're going to teach people how to position themselves. You were going to teach people how to, just use the video and all that, right? So my mind is automatically thinking, if I'm going to make a core promise or I'm going to make an offer, like, hey, come join my webinar that's going to show you how to create converting video that positions you as the expert. Done. Like, oh,
Perfect.
shoot, like, or your marketing should say 80% of people consume content through video in 2019, and it's going to get even more in 2020. So catch the video marketing wave and learn on this webinar how to use video properly to convert sales, convert clients, and position you as the subject matter expert.
Perfect.
That's what I would do.
Excellent.
Clear, concise, and it has the exact outcomes, because there's somebody who's coming up to the webinar is going, well, why should I spend an hour on this webinar? It's probably going to have a pitch at the end. It's probably going to have, and you know what? So like I've done a couple webinars and they've been successful because I position my webinar as, and even in there, even in the marketing, I talk about the things that you're going to learn. So I say, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through some things. I'm going to teach you one thing. I'm going to teach you 2 things. And then number 3, I'm going to close it up by doing this. At the end, if you stay, I'm going to make an offer. And a lot of webinars don't do that. Some do, but I'm going to make you an offer at the end. So if you want to stay to the end, you can absolutely stay to the end just to hear the offer. If you're hearing this on the replay, you could probably try to fast forward just to the offer if you really wanted to hear the offer. Doesn't matter. So I always like kind of make a joke about it. There is going to be an offer. I'm sorry. There is going to be an offer, but it's going to be worth it. But I'm also not going to waste your time. But do I ever talk about, I know you've been on many webinars before and they all suck. And I don't compare, right? Like comparative marketing. You don't do that. So I just talk about how I'm different. I'm going to give you value. I'm going to give you takeaway. So get a pen and paper because you will be taking notes and you will be getting value, actual value. So let's begin. And I go right into it. I don't talk about me. I talk about people that I've coached. I talk about people that I know. I talk about people that are having problems. And that's what I talk about. And at the end, I'm saying, so if you stay to the end, I want to thank you for staying to the end. Here's an offer that I want to offer you. If you don't want to hear the offer, you can automatically close out, exit out. Thank you so much for watching. But for those that are sticking around, here's what I want to offer you. A clear, concise offer. If you work with me for 30 days, boom, 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 these things will happen. And then that's it. Like it's very clean, very concise, no fluff, no BS, straight to the point. And people appreciate the no fluff and straight to the point. Some people are like, oh man, you got a condition from the time that you open your webinar to the time that you close the webinar. You should be selling the whole time. How about we give value first and let the people decide if it's valuable enough to go to an offer?
I love it.
Because most times, I get asked all the time, like, oh my gosh, you should be speaking here. Oh, you'd be a perfect speaker. Oh, we'd love to have you. I'm like, that's awesome. What are you paying speakers? Oh, no, we don't pay. You got to pay for speaking. Like, oh, okay. So you're hosting an event. You must be hosting the event for free then, because I'm not going to speak for free and you're not going to work for free. I'm assuming.
Right.
You're like, oh, well, I mean, I sell stage time. I'm like, good for you. Have a great event. Because all those events are pitch fests. Yep. And I just don't want to have my brand attached to a pitch fest. I've been to these pitch fests where there's 30 people in a room and there's 6 speakers, and all 6 speakers have these horrible offers. and people are walking out of the room. I was at an event in Charlotte where people got up and walked out of the room. They're like, I'm not, this is a waste of my time. Like, oh, and I was like the closing keynote speaker. I watched people walk out of the room to where when I got done, there was 18 people in a room out of like 30 or 40 people. There was like 18 people left, and some of those people were speakers and other people were staff. So I went up there, I got my cool video because I was promised a video. I got up there, cool video. I didn't have to pay. Because in my contract it says if you have less than 30 people, then I'll speak for free, but I'm not paying. If there's less than 30 people, I was promised more than 30 people. There wasn't 30 people, so I got to speak for free. But that's all in my contract. So if I'm going to pay somebody to speak, they're going to fill a room. Or what I love, what I love is, oh well, we give you the stage and you got to pack the room. Yep, you have a nice event. I won't be there. I mean, if you want me to pack the event and book everything and speak, and then you need to pay me. Like, I run a business. Like,
I totally get that.
Some of the stuff that I see online today is just ridiculous. Like, where did you learn? Like, who taught you? Who's your coach? They need to be fired. Like, who taught this? Who teaches people these things that we see? Like, I'm going to message Marie, like, Marie, oh my gosh, I love LinkedIn and I love your profile. I have a coaching program you should so totally buy. Who teaches that?
I don't know, but there's some people that have that approach, and then I just like try to glaze over them and kind of like try not to answer. So
So I
yeah.
always answer them. I say, "Oh, thank you so much for reaching out and thank you for that friend request." What I appreciate the most is that your pitch that you gave to me in the first message that I've ever received from you. I really appreciate your pitch. What I have to offer you is perfect pitch for LinkedIn. And what it'll teach you is how to properly pitch somebody on LinkedIn, not in the first message. If you're interested in my perfect pitch for LinkedIn, please go ahead and buy my perfect pitch program. I
Awesome.
literally sell back to them and I hear crickets.
Oh, I totally get
Yeah,
that.
I hear crickets. So instead of
So
engaging with them and whoever's like, wow, thank you so much for the pitch in the first message I've ever received from you, and try to sell me something. That's awesome. You know nothing about me. What I have to offer you is a perfect pitch platform that you can absolutely increase your sales by 30x if you actually build a relationship with somebody.
oh, that's what the whole point of my business, my agency. We actually focus on relationship building. We don't focus on just throwing out the pitch. And one of the things I'm training my lead generator is to focus more on the conversation and building that
Yeah.
rapport, and then asking, "Do you want to get on a call with Marie and talk about it some more?" It's not about throwing out the pitch right away, because that's not what I want to do. I want to change how our industry does that. So, I know this a little bit about positioning is the pitch. What would be a good like blueprint, like a formula for creating a perfect pitch? I'm not trying to be repetitive in my
Mm,
wording, but
I love
anyway,
it.
yeah.
No, I actually, like, no kidding, have a perfect pitch formula.
Isn't that funny how we work that out?
because because so many people were messaging me going, you should buy my stuff, right?
Yep.
So the perfect pitch, okay, and it's really about how to get the perfect pitch as to how to get a yes, and how to um really like get booked to speak on podcasts and stages and all that stuff. So number one, acknowledge the understanding of the audience. I understand where your audience is coming from. You and I had a call. I
Mhm.
understand what your audience is. So if I was going to pitch something, I know to pitch to your audience. And the number one question I ask is, what is the biggest problem your audience is dealing with? As a host or as somebody who is an influencer, you should know what your audience is dealing with every day,
It's a
right?
valid point. Yeah.
And then you have to explain in 1 to 2 sentences why you are the person to solve that problem.
Mhm.
Why should they listen to you? Why? And exactly tell them why they should listen to you and then how you're going to solve that problem. Give them the how, right? Once you give them the how, then you explain to them um, in about a sentence or two. It shouldn't take long. You can take 3 sentences, but after you tell them the how, you should then tell them what the audience will gain because of the problem that you solved. So In your case, when you talked about video and positioning and all that, you just say most entrepreneurs and business owners do not know how to effectively use video to video market themselves. And so we teach you in the digital marketing agency how to properly use video so that you become the subject matter expert with credibility and authority, because 80% of that content on social media right now is consumed through video. If you're not capitalizing on the video where people's attention are, then you're always going to be in the same spot and you're never going to be highlighted as an influencer in your industry. So I went good, bad, bad. So I'm going to teach you something good. Most people don't know how to do it, and then you'll never do this. So I keep it like that. I give you the good stuff. Like, I'm going to teach you this. It's going to be amazing, because if you don't, boom. So the last thing they remember is, oh my gosh, like if I don't do this, it's like this is going to suck. Right. So you always want to include, they talk about benefits and features, whatever. You just want to include what the audience is going to get and how it's going to benefit them. If you
Basically,
do this video marketing,
what their transformation is.
yep. What's the transformation?
And so if they do this video marketing, then what's the wording you were going to say after that?
Who, me?
Yes, I'm sorry, I had interrupted. So I wanted to let you have a chance to finish your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, just if you talk about where they're going to go and what happens as a result of, I use the word so that what? I use video marketing content so that what? So that I can convert sales. So that what? I can get money. Yeah, I got that. Duh. So that what? Right? It's like you have to have that progression so that, right? Like you get on an email list. So that what? So you can nurture your audience. So that what? So you can sell to your audience. So that what? So you can serve more people. So that what? So that you can get referrals. So you can get, like, everything needs to lead to another thing. Most people just
value.
stop.
Most
Right.
people need to be able to learn that they have to be able to provide value too in order to do that, because they're not going to nurture their leads unless they have something valuable to offer them.
100%. So if I was going to talk to you, I would talk about your audience. I would talk about the research I've done on your audience. And I would tell you what great things that could come from doing business with me. I would then talk about the problem I can solve for them, and then give social proof on that problem, create a win-win scenario. And then here's my offer, my call to action, just like that,
Perfect.
just in that simple process. So that's pretty much it.
No, that's awesome. So I appreciate that. So yeah, I really enjoyed everything. Is there anything else you want to add to? Do you have a closing statements, or or you pretty much have
So
have anything else you want to add to it?
most businesses fail because, not because of capital, not because of the revenue or the clients, or it all comes down to positioning. Always.
Agreed.
Always. It always comes down to positioning. But you have to be known for something. And if you're not known for something, then you're not going to be positioned, and you're always going to struggle. What do you want to be known for? What is the one thing? It's a great book, by the way, The One Thing. But
Good to know.
but you have to be known as one thing. Once you become known as one thing and you've made over 100 grand at one thing, then you can go on to something else.
That's good. I think so many of us try to, what's the word I'm looking for? Be like a general business owner, like being able to be like the jack
Mhm.
of all trades and the master of
And
none.
the master of none. Yeah.
And I find that, and I tried it for a while, and I was too narrow, and then I was too wide, and now I kind of gotten a nice little medium in between the digital marketing and the webinar production, and that's what I want to be known for, and amongst others as well. But those are the main core things, and you can always
Mhm.
add more as you, like you said, as you've gotten to the point where you master it. But one of the things I have learned with certain cultures like Japan and even China, they have this technique where they master something. They master a technique. They master anything that they try to strive for, which is one of the reasons why their companies are usually so successful in modeling for companies. And one of the things I think a lot of business owners miss, like you said, is they have failed to learn to master it, and really be able to have it in their DNA where they know it by heart. They have all the um pieces to it figured out. And
Hmm.
I think that's one of the things that a lot of business owners miss. They don't know what they really want to do, and they flail around like fish in the water and they just kind of
Oh
just
yeah.
don't know what they're doing. So that's why this particular piece that we're doing today is perfect, because they really need to know how to position themselves. They need to know what their niche is. They need to know how to master it and make it part of their DNA, like you were mentioning earlier too, early, and you and I just said only slightly different wordings. And
Hmm.
then really just kind of know how to be able to create that pitch and create that desire for their audience to come to them, instead of them trying to go out and constantly, target the wrong audience, and you want to target the right audience. Is that my understanding for the
Hmm.
summary of what we
Yep.
talked about today?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Got to be
Yeah.
talking to the right people. Got to be solving the right problems for the right people. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Sounds like it's a
Yep.
great point. So, and I know, so I was going to ask you what your favorite book was, and you brought it up in one of our topics recently.
Hmm.
And I just wanted you to say the name of the author too, as well as the name of the
Yep.
title.
Yeah. My favorite book is Play Bigger: How Pirates, Dreamers, and Innovators Create and Dominate Markets. And his name's Christopher Lochhead.
Cool. I have not heard of him before. And so what
It's one of my most favorite books.
it obviously made a big impact on you. So could you tell me a
Oh
little
yeah.
about that impact?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I've built 4 businesses, and the 3rd and 4th business has been incredible because of that book, because it changed the way that I did business. Because I was always doing things the same way that I've always done them in the first 2. And as they were successful, this one started struggling. I'm like, man, like 10 years ago, this would have worked, but I didn't know kind of how these things would move together. And I wasn't evolving with the times. And when I did, it exploded. And because of this book and the way that I view things now, it's just absolutely it complete transformation and change.
Cool. That might be a topic for another day.
Oh yeah.
That would be a really good one to learn. I always like to know what helps people tweak their businesses, because everything's different for each person, and what one book might
Mhm.
speak to one person, another person might not get it, but that doesn't mean they might not be able to pull some tip out of there somehow. So I always tell people to go for the nuggets, to find a nugget, even if it's just one nugget that will help change your business. And so I appreciate that. So that's awesome. And then I think I had another question for you. It was, is there a program or a way to get in touch with you? Some common the combination. Is there something that's coming up that you want to promote, or a way for people to get in touch with you? And and I'll get all the
Yeah.
links and put them on above the videos too when
Mhm.
we set them out. So yeah, is there something that you want? Where how can people communicate with you? And that's another question I had think throw
Yeah.
in.
If you want to create, launch, and monetize a business, a speaker career, a podcast, your books, I'm the person. If you want to connect with me, go to the Success Core, CORPS, thesuccesscore.com. And all of my stuff's there, all the videos and everything. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm everywhere. So if you want to create, launch, and monetize your business, take it to the next level. If you're tired of struggling, if you have a lot of anxiety and depression and stress, and you're just like about to give up, or it's just not working for you, or not where you want to be in life, come talk to me. We'll make it happen.
That's awesome. And I know you've made some really good tips for my podcast, which I've been trying to implement. So hopefully you've
Good.
noticed that. I
Yeah.
was, yeah, I've been trying to streamline and perfect, because I always feel like we're always changing and growing and improving.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's something I always strive to do in my business as well, is always fine tune everything. So hey, we're always evolving, right? So
All right.
we're
Always.
always evolving and progressing. That's the whole point. So anyway, but I
Always.
really want to say thank you. Your positioning talk is perfect and on point, and probably the shortest one I've done in the last couple weeks.
Good. That's awesome.
So I try to keep it down with a window of time frame because I know the attention
Hmm.
span is plays a factor in a lot of these videos. So, but I definitely look forward to maybe doing some more podcasts with you in the future, and hopefully if
Yeah,
you're open to
that'd be
it.
great.
Yeah, and this is and I agree with you 100%. Podcasting is my favorite part of the whole experience so far. So yeah, definitely, because you learn so much, and I like
Hmm.
the fact that I don't have to do all the talking. So as outgoing as I
Awesome.
am, I just like to have other people, showcase their expertise. So that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you, and I know we'll be in touch, and I will make sure that we get some of these. I'll make sure that might have to be some edits because, and some tweaking a little bit here and there, just because I noticed there's some glitches in the internet, so you gotta love it when technology actually behaves. So,
Oh yeah.
so I'll make sure my video editor takes a look at it and
Okay.
and we'll get the final copy out hopefully in about a week. So, but yes, really want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to having more people look at your podcast because you seem to
Thank
have
you
a
so
lot of great
much.
information. So, yeah, my pleasure. So, definitely keep in touch. Okay. So,
Oh, thank you. You too.
yeah, thank you very much. Have a good one. I blow
Thank
kisses
you.
to all my speakers, so don't. So,
Well,
it's just
all
my
right. We'll talk
personality.
soon.
Will do. Take care. All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And when I
Bye.
end this, it'll probably end the podcast and I'll chat with you later. Okay?
Okay. Yep. Gotta go.
Cheers.
Like thing. Bye.
Bye.